The suspicious clue in this video is not the Johari window itself. It's how quickly a sketch on a classroom whiteboard gets promoted into a life philosophy. Destin's central question is straightforward. What do other people see in me that I don't see in myself? Fair question. The problem is that the episode keeps treating a communication tool like a deep model of personhood, and those are not the same thing. At its core, the video argues that the Johari window can help you live less blindly, expand the open part of yourself, shrink the hidden and blind areas, and you become more honest, more connected, maybe more whole. That is an attractive claim. It is also where the video starts smuggling uncertainty. Because the moment you say other people can reveal your blind spots, you've opened a serious question. Which people? In what context? With what incentives? And why should their read of you be trusted more than your own? To the video's credit, its strongest material is the least grandiose part, the practical demonstration. You can see Destin and Dalen physically work through the window, naming the 4 boxes, showing the printable chart, and trying to anchor an abstract idea in an actual conversation. That matters, because a lot of self-help explainers stay misty on purpose. This one at least attempts a mechanism. Hidden area, what I know about myself but don't disclose. Blind area, what others notice but I miss. Unknown area, what neither side can yet see. As a teaching device, that's clean, memorable, and useful. And here's the part one think the video gets genuinely right. Feedback can expose behavior that feels invisible from the inside. Tone, defensiveness, impatience, social habits, the way you dominate a room without noticing it. Those are real phenomena. Other people do catch patterns we cannot feel while we are busy being ourselves. But the strongest part of the argument is also its biggest vulnerability, because the video frames feedback as insight more often than as interpretation. Those are different categories. Insight can be true. Interpretation can be biased, self-serving, culturally narrow, or just wrong. This is where the episode gets too polite with the model. The Johari window comes out of group dynamics and interpersonal communication, which means it lives and dies by context. If your boss says you have a blind spot, that may be useful feedback. It may also be a demand for compliance. If your family says you're cold, are they identifying a hidden emotional pattern or punishing a boundary they don't like? If your church, workplace, or friend group all agree that something about you is off, that consensus might reveal a blind area. It might also reveal that groups are very good at rewarding sameness and pathologizing difference. The video brushes past that danger. There's another quiet assumption underneath the lesson, that shrinking the hidden quadrant is morally good. Be more open, reveal more, let people in. Again, that sounds humane until you ask who can afford that advice. Privacy is not always fear. Sometimes it is dignity. Sometimes it is safety. Sometimes the hidden self is not a problem to solve, but a boundary that protects you from people who have not earned access. The video's language around disclosure risks turning self-protection into a kind of emotional withholding, and that is too simple for adult life. Then there's the most mystical square in the whole diagram, the unknown area. In the episode, it becomes a kind of frontier for self-discovery, which is narratively satisfying and conceptually slippery. Unknown to self and unknown to others can mean latent talent, buried fear, trauma, future potential, or just ordinary unpredictability. The model lumps all of that together. That's fine if you treat it as a prompt for reflection. It becomes shaky when the video treats the diagram like it has explanatory depth on its own. A box labeled unknown is not a theory. It's a placeholder. Still, I don't want to flatten what the episode does well. Destin's great strength as an educator has always been that he performs curiosity rather than just declaring conclusions, and that matters here. The classroom setting, the hand-drawn diagram, the visible back and forth with Dalen, those choices keep the video from becoming a sermon. They make it feel testable. When he physically points to the boxes and works through examples, he gives viewers a tool they could actually use in a conversation tonight, which is more than most pop psych explainers accomplish. What's missing is the part that would separate a compelling lesson from a persuasive one, evidence about outcomes. The description links a paper, a Wikipedia page, an article by Dalen. Fine. But inside the video, how much do we actually learn about whether this model improves judgment, relationships, conflict resolution, therapy, leadership, anything measurable? Very little. The episode mostly proves that the Johari window is intuitive and discussable. It does not prove that it is uniquely clarifying or that using it makes you less self-deceived rather than merely more fluent in talking about yourself. In a way, the most interesting version of this episode is the one it almost makes by accident. Not a video about the Johari window as wisdom, but a video about Destin submitting himself to other people's interpretations and discovering how unstable those interpretations can be. That would be fascinating. Show me conflicting feedback from different people. Show me what happens when one person's blind spot is another person's strength. Show me how the same trait, intensity, reserve, confidence, gets coded as admirable by one community and alarming by another. That would turn a clean diagram into an honest investigation. So my verdict is awkwardly split. As an educational object, this is one of the more thoughtful mainstream introductions to a classic interpersonal model. It is clear, concrete, and unusually gentle about the fact that self-knowledge is social. As an argument, though, it overstates what the framework can carry. The conclusion is only partly supported. The video demonstrates that the Johari window is a good conversation starter and a decent mirror. It does not demonstrate that it is a trustworthy map of the self, and it definitely does not wrestle enough with the unflattering possibility that other people's truth about you can be nothing more than organized projection. If you like your explainers with the evidence checked and the comforting parts interrogated, stay with me. There are a lot of beloved internet lessons that get treated like settled truth once somebody draws them neatly on a whiteboard.